Rule number one
Mm.
in crisis. Rule number one.
Mm.
Control what you can control.
Understand. I agree with you.
The only thing that I can control is myself.
Mhm.
So rule number one in a crisis,
Mm.
control yourself and have self-control. Because if you don't have self-control, you can't help anybody.
Mhm. Mhm.
Crazy people are fun, but you don't always want them as friends, right? Right? So you have to have discipline to solve important
Mhm.
problems. And
Mhm.
this is a situation that requires a very serious approach and a lot of discipline in
Mhm.
order to set the right example for the children, because one day
Mhm.
the children will look back and they will ask what happened, and they will need an example of somebody being normal. As difficult as it is to be normal, one day people will look back and they will ask those questions, and they will need to see somebody
Mhm.
not stressed, not panicking, not upset, not freaked out. They will be attracted towards a person who is comfortable with themselves. Do you understand?
Mm.
Discipline.
Yes. Mm.
Now is that I have spent a lot of time listening in the last
Mm.
2 weeks
Mhm.
to people who know more than me about
Mhm.
these topics.
Mhm.
And I am not telling anybody what to do. I am saying,
Mhm.
I have come to you because you are an expert. Tell me what to do and I will go and do it because I don't know what to do. This is what I have done for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm.
This is not a time to think you're in control. This is not a time
Mm.
to to imagine things. This is not a time to take things on yourself and have a cavalier approach to this. Is not the time for
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Yes. 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 Yes.
This is the
I
time
everything. I understand everything. Yeah.
this is a time for
Mm.
decorum and sense and
Mm.
practicality, and as difficult as it is, it's it's not about it's not about the right now. It's about
Mhm. Yes. Of course.
the vision
Mm.
of however long
Mhm.
it takes to have some balance of normal, and
Mm.
nothing is guaranteed, nothing is clear.
Yes. Yes.
But I
Um,
have to have a I have to have a clear heart and a clear mind and a clear conscience that I did everything right.
mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
And maybe sometimes you do everything right and you still
Mhm.
don't get a good result. That
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So
Mm.
you use your experience well, right?
Mm. Mm.
Like I like I said to people recently, I said, look, I'm 46. I've seen a
Mm.
lot of shit in my life. I've seen a lot of bad things happen. You know, I've had friends that died, right? You know, there's a lot of bad stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I have learned from all of those things is that sometimes you don't engage directly. Sometimes you step back.
Mm-hmm.
You do things, but you don't do
Mm-hmm.
things aggressively. You do things proactively.
Mm-hmm.
And now is the time to set an example of what is a good thing to do and what is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't, then I have no hope, right? You know, it's when
Yeah,
you lose,
it's logical.
yeah, it's I am focused on one thing and one thing only: self-control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And knowing that I don't know, like I don't know, like I said to my new lawyer today, I said, look,
Mm-hmm.
I said I don't know what's going on, right? I said I have no idea. I said I said that's your job as the lawyer is to put the pieces of the puzzle together, right?
Yeah.
It's not for me to tell you what to
Yeah.
do. It's for
Mm-hmm.
me to listen to you
Yeah.
and to see how and where things go. And when you're in the middle of the situation, it's
Mm.
very hard to be objective. So
Mm.
I'm
Yes.
not I'm not taking any side or any specific perspective. My aim uh, is to ask other professionals
Mm.
what they think is the best way to progress and the best way to
Mm-hmm.
proceed. And yeah, I'm thinking a lot about a lot of things, and
Yeah.
um, it's not easy, but
Mm.
like I said at the beginning about this, the being with yourself thing, right? A lot of people are very uncomfortable with who they are.
Mm-hmm.
If they are left alone in a place in silence, they get nervous very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is, my perspective is to put myself specifically in that position
Mm.
to understand myself,
Mm. Yes.
to see, because everything else is a mask. It would be very easy to, like a lot of people when they have stress, they'll go and drink a bottle of vodka or something like that, right? It would, and you can understand why people do it because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of pain and they don't feel the pain when they do it. So I understand that,
Mm.
but you have to you have to feel how you feel, right?
Mm.
You have to, in order to communicate well with people, you have to understand, where you are, where you're at as a person, and and so yeah, we will see where it all goes.
Mm.
We will see where it all goes. Interesting times.
Mm.
I'm I'm very prepared for the result to be negative
Yes.
and to know that I am not finished yet. If you understand. It's a long road. It's a long road. There's no need to burn out now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? It's a long road.
Yeah.
These problems like this can take a year to solve. So
Mm. Long time. Mm.
yeah. So yeah, it's
Mm.
truth is it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a long time, but yeah, you just you have to mentally prepare yourself. And as always, you have good days and bad days, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
some days are easier than others. So and some days, what some days you have a lot of positive information, and then some days you have a lot of negative
Mm.
information. It's just
Mm.
it's just the way that it is. And yeah, I have to. Somebody has to set a good example of what
Mm.
is normal.
Mhm.
Somebody has to set a good example of what is normal.
Mm.
Right? So that's my ambition to be that example.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
um, the world food is not a problem. Eating is easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eating is easy. It's like it's the same when
Mm.
like if someone gets a diagnosis of cancer, right? It's pretty serious and
Mhm.
you can't just run around and panic. Okay, it's not
Mm.
gonna be
Mhm.
very helpful. You have to,
Yes. Yes.
when if the ship is going down, running around and screaming is not going to help anybody. You got to think, okay,
Mhm.
what do we do now in this emergency? So um, you get to see a lot of people are wearing a mask.
Mhm.
And
Not really mask. You think not really mask, but yeah, I
yeah,
understand.
right.
I understand.
A lot of people are wearing a mask,
Mm.
and they will do anything to 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 cover the mask, to hide the fact that
Mm.
they're wearing a mask.
Mm.
And it's it's interesting psychologically again to understand all of that. Um, it's it's back to faith and trust and belief in a lot of things. It's it's the rule of karma, right? I mean, you have to trust that if you do good, then good things will
Mm.
happen to you, and if you do bad, then bad things will happen to you. You have to trust to a certain extent that that is true in the law of nature and the law of the world. And so we will see we will see what happens as a result. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, and
Mm.
my hope is that the people in the process should be professional. Should be. So should
Yes.
be. Should
Yes.
be.
No.
Now, if they are professional and they are
Mm.
good at their job,
Mm-hmm.
then I have a chance
Mm-hmm.
because they will see
Mm.
what I see.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's out of my control, right? You know, it's the easiest thing to do is to say, I know what's right. The difficult thing to do is to say,
Mm-hmm.
I give this decision to you to make
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
about my life, right?
Mm. Oh, it's difficult.
Yeah, exactly. It's very difficult. I said to my
Mm-hmm.
lawyer, look, I said to my lawyer, for you, this is just another problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, but
Mm.
for me, this is my life. So
Yeah.
let's be careful about everything. It is important to understand the right way to solve the problem.
Mm.
It's very important to understand. Uh, you don't solve the problem by running around doing stupid things.
Mm. Mm.
You just make the
Okay.
problem worse. I am hopeful that as long as I take small steps in the right
Mm-hmm.
direction every day, that it will turn out okay. I don't know. I always say we can't see the end. We don't know how things are going to finish. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's it's like it's funny. I'm like at this moment I'm a bit like it's a bit like being a manager of a football team or something. I mean, it's like just like you 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 want to be on the field running and kicking and playing,
Mm-hmm.
but you know you can't. So you have to stand at the side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, like I said, this is about setting an example, how to solve a problem, so that there is a model example about
Mm.
what you do when you have a problem.
Yes, yes.
And like I said, it's out of my control. I like to have a little bit of control over what is happening around about me.
Mm.
Yet at the same time, I know in this situation that's not the right approach. Okay, yeah. You don't you don't tell the wind which way to blow, right?
Mm. Mhm.
You don't do that. You just let it do its thing. So, yeah, that's the situation. I'm doing something every day towards a positive result, um,
Mhm.
and I'm not expecting any quick solutions or quick answers. Or
Mhm.
I'm expecting more trouble, and I'm expecting more problems, and this is
Mhm.
this is this is about character. That's why this is important. This is about character of people.
Mhm.
The test is what you do under pressure.
Mhm.
Whether you help Or there's an opposite word called hinder. To hinder is to
Mm-hmm.
not help. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
so the choice is whether under pressure, whether you help people
Mm-hmm.
or you hinder the situation and you make problems. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what we are seeing right now. Yeah. Who is this? You know, it's about the character of the person.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like I'm learning a lot from this process, and it will all and everything that I'm learning is something that I can use to
Mm-hmm.
teach the children something.
Yes.
So
Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so and some problems in life are serious. Some problems in life are very serious. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we have to,
Mm.
make those decisions.
Yes.
Under pressure, under pressure is who we are,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
It's true. Well,
Under
couple
pre-
of very true. Hmm?
everybody everybody thinks they're going to be great under pressure,
Mm-hmm.
but the real test is how do you act? How do you react under pressure?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Are you still kind and careful and considerate, or are you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
reckless and damaging?
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of growing. I was young and stupid once upon a time. Now I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser, and I understand that sometimes what you really, really, really want to do
Mm-hmm.
is not the right thing to do because the world is bigger than one
Mm-hmm.
person. So, would I like to be with my children? Yes, of course, naturally, more than anything. But wait right now, just wait. Just wait. Just breathe
Yes.
and relax and wait
Yes.
and see what happens. See what goes where. Because
Yes.
because this is the test of who we are. Are we full of hate or are we full of love?
Mm-hmm.
It's all back to religion. It's all back to the black and white
Mm-hmm.
principles
Mm-hmm.
of
Yes.
can you love your enemy? Can you love your enemy? Because if you can't, you've lost. Because even your enemy will show love for someone or something. So it's moral application of religious teachings,
Mm-hmm.
which is there are many things that I don't like,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have to hold on to anger because I don't like it. And not look, not all that happens is good and right and just. There are many injustices in the world. I understand
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, it's that's difficult. It's difficult for someone like me who's like a really independent person with a lot of things. It's very difficult for me. It's difficult for me to go to people and say, "Can you help me?" You know.
Yeah, I know.
It's a very humbling experience, but it's also very necessary to realize that. If people can have solutions if they want. You know, do you, you know, you have to ask people, do you want the solution or not? Because some people, here's something to think about. Some people don't want solutions. They don't want to solve things. It's black and white. That's why. Because they haven't learned. They haven't learned. They only know chaos. They don't know how to be at peace.
What is that?
Yeah, and yeah, it is. It is. It's very sad. And I've been through periods of my life myself where I've struggled with that problem, and where I hold a lot of anger or resentment or negative feeling because certain things have happened. And it's different now because I see how much you hurt yourself when you're angry about things. Yeah.